And hello, everybody. It is Thursday, May 12th. It is sunny where I am. I believe it's sunny where Jaden is as well. Jaden, what are your
Yeah,
thoughts? What's
yeah,
your weather report?
yeah. I'm doing good on the sun. It's there was a little bit of cloud today. That was actually nice to cool us down a bit.
Oh, yeah. Somewhere a little violin is playing for you.
That's right, exactly. Yeah.
We were just chatting before we went live. Very exciting Flames game last night, but we're all happy if they can just win in game six tomorrow night in Dallas, right?
Yeah, no, I totally can't take the stress of a game seven. I think as Flames fans, we've all had our hearts broken in the first
Oh,
round
yeah.
enough times. So let's just get through it, get her done.
Don't remind me of 1993, I believe it was, when Robert Reichel couldn't lift a puck over Kirk McLean's pad in overtime when the Canucks made it to the Stanley Cup final. I believe that was the year, if memory serves me correctly.
Oh God, I was 7 years old, so I can't help you out there, buddy.
Oh, yeah, thanks a lot. All right, well, moving on. Let's just get right to it and let's see what's going on in our real estate market. Enough of that hockey stuff.
That's right.
But
That's right.
I will say this: we were, it's kind of back and forth like the Flames series with Dallas. This week, 388 new listings, 395 last week, so call it slightly down, slightly up from a couple of weeks ago. But I mean, look at that. The last time we were close to 500 listings detached new in the week was mid-April. So 427 for solds, a little bit up from last week. But if you look at the last 5 weeks here, we've been anywhere from 461 to 422. So, relatively in that same ballpark. 372 for pendings, again, very, very similar to the last 3 weeks, and total sold plus pending of call it 800. So really the last 3 weeks have kind of been, minor variations, but similar theme over the last few weeks, for a net difference of 411 on the plus side. And then another 256 price reductions this week. And that's going to happen. I mean, my listing in Airdrie was one of those where we just kind of overshot the market, but we made a very quick and decisive price reduction. And I've actually got two offers since that price reduction. First one didn't come together due to financing really quickly. The one buyer was not going to end up moving to Alberta, so we just they quickly got themselves out of that sale. And on a sidebar here, Jaden, we always want to know that as soon as possible. Like, it sucks, but I would rather know that a day into conditions period than a week and a half later. So anyway, so that is price reductions, and then our total detached listings at 1943. So it's been very similar numbers for the previous 4 weeks, and then a bit of a creep up this week, and total listings in all segments of 3952. Again, it's been a creep, right? Now, interestingly, when I clicked on the pendings, so as you know, I don't include pending listings in this total number of listings. When I clicked on the pendings, it went over 5,000. So as soon as my system, when it goes over 5,000, it doesn't give me the exact number. But fair to say, there are currently over 1,100 homes in Calgary that are in conditions period right now. So that's kind of interesting. So when we go to our look back, our time machine, we should call it the time machine. Last year at this time, very similar for sales, 668 versus 740 this year. New listings actually were down only 4% from where we were last year. Our actives are still, again, these include pendings, right? So our actives are still 21% below where they were last year. And our pendings, still crazy numbers there. And our days on market, which we're going to get into more what's happening in May now, because this is as of the last week. So what's our aggregate in May for days on market? We'll tell you that in just a second. So the bottom line here is we're still active listings wise 20% down. That's the biggest difference compared to a year ago. And then over to you, Jaden. I know there's no specific interest rate update, but what are you talking about this week?
Well, thank goodness. Like, it's just
right.
Fine.
Well, maybe down would have been good.
That would have been nice as well. But finally, I get a week without rates are going up. Get your deals in before they go up. things going on. So no, we're just kind of holding steady for now. I guess what we teased about last week, and I'd like to talk about this week, is something that people don't really think about, and that's the qualifying rate, right? So,
Mm.
when you do a mortgage, we have our ratios that we have to use, and you have to fit within these bubbles with your income and your debt and your credit and all of these kinds of things. And all of that is based upon you buying that house with an interest rate of 5.25%. Well, in June of 2021, right up till June of 2021, that interest rate was 4.79%, and we were livid that they put it up to
Yeah.
5.25% because at the time interest rates were historically low, right? Like we were talking about sub 2% 5-year fixed interest rates. It was
Yeah.
phenomenal. It was crazy. So now, as we see things creeping up, and we're looking at plus 4% 5-year fixed interest rates, one of the things that happens is that OFSI, the Office of so it's OSFI, sorry, Office of the Superintendent of Financial Institutions, looks at this on a yearly basis, and that's coming up in June. So we haven't gotten any kind of feedback on what's going to happen on there yet. They're pretty tight about those that kind of thing, but there's a possibility that qualifying rate could go up again, right? So what does that mean? So when it went from 4.79 to 5.25, about a half point, you lost about 5% of your purchasing power, right? So
Mhm.
if you qualified for a $500,000 purchase, all of a sudden you're qualifying for a $475,000 purchase.
Right.
That might not mean much for everybody, but some people are buying on the higher end of their purchasing power. So if that's you, now would be a great time to make a purchase decision, because any contracts in place prior to the change are still based on that 5.25%.
Right. Okay, yeah, sounds good. And Jaden can work all those numbers out for you. I'm bad at math in my head, but Jaden is wonderful at both math in his head and outside of his head. So, all right. So one final slide for us today. This is the update as of this morning. So this is average days on market. So that is from the time the house is listed till it has a firm sale. Conditions are removed if there are conditions. So apartment style, 34 days. That's not bad, because I do remember a time in the not too recent past that it was 50 and 60 days. So good for apartment condo owners. Row townhouses, row housing homes, row townhouses. I don't know why they say row housing. Row townhouses, 20 days. Semi-detached, 22 days, and then our detached homes are at 18 days average on market right now. So, I always look at all these different aggregate of stats and of data, right? So we'll look at average days on market. We look at sale to list price ratios. We look at months of supply. So we're still, although people say, well, the market's going down, Well, number one, prices aren't going down substantially, really, at all. And compared to what? Like compared to January, February? Yeah, conceivably. But if you compare it year over year, which is really how you should, they're really not. They're still way up from last year. But I mean, days on market at 18 for detached homes, like that's still really, really quick. Really quick. So if you're looking to sell here's a couple of anecdotal examples. So I listed a property this morning in Parkland in Calgary, super hot area. If you know Parkland at all, it's awesome. I think if I didn't live in Woodbine, I would live in Parkland, but prices are higher there. And we listed a very, very original bungalow on a corner lot. And I knew of some realtors in the area that were interested. So I put it out to them. They both looked at the property with their clients, and we actually ended up accepting an unconditional offer last night. So we're just waiting for the deposit to mark that as firm, right? So, I mean, that'll be 0 days on market with no conditions. So it really depends on your location, what kind of property you're selling. And there's a lot of different things that factor in. But as always, reach out, because I can provide that kind of information for your community as well. And that's about it for today, Jaden. I guess we'll just hope for a Game 6 win tomorrow night.
Yes, yeah, like save my heart. I can't handle Game 7. It's going to happen.
It's going to happen. Yes, absolutely. I love, not to talk sports here, but the fact that our top line didn't have to score last night, that was pretty cool.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, everyone, have a great week. Enjoy this amazing weather we're having. And Jayden, don't get sunburnt any more than you already are. And we will talk to you in 7 days.
Have a good one, guys.